Hey! Okay, I decided I'm ready to share the story of the second miscarriage, so that's what I'm going to share today. There's been a lot on my mind this past week. We had our first appointment with the doctor to talk about what the next steps are, and it didn't really go how we wanted it to, but that's a story for another day. Yeah, there's been a lot on my mind, so I haven't even thought about making a video about the second miscarriage, but here I am. I'm ready. First of all, I wanted to say thank you to all of those who have watched my videos. I've had a lot of people reach out to me and share their experiences, and it's been so rewarding. I wanted to say thanks to everyone who's been brave and shared their experiences with me because it's helped me a lot. I mentioned before that all of my miscarriages were very different. Yeah, this one was definitely different. The first miscarriage happened on November 11th. Like I mentioned in the video about that miscarriage, the doctor said that we didn't really need to wait or anything before we got pregnant again, just pretty much like wait a month. I was super nervous to get pregnant again, obviously, because I didn't want to have another miscarriage. So I wasn't like sure that I was ready to try again, but we were kind of just like, we'll just see what happens kind of thing. And then I got pregnant, so I was really excited when I found out that I was pregnant, and then the fear quickly set in, and the anxiety about what if I have another miscarriage. I remember that I just had a mental breakdown and was bawling and just so scared because I just didn't want to have another miscarriage, and it was just like so unknown, and that freaked me out. I was pretty scared, like just in general. I think I was just scared this whole pregnancy. Then I finally started to feel like that I was like getting excited about having a baby, and I wasn't as scared anymore, even though I was still scared and it was always in the back of my head, but I started feeling like a little bit more excited. One day while I was at work, I started having some spotting. I was like, it's fine, it's probably nothing, like I can just say, keep working and it'll be fine. Even though initially I was like worried that it was a miscarriage, but I was like, it's probably fine. I just like started getting so scared and I was like, I can't be at work anymore, I just need to go. And so I left work. I was just panicked. I called the doctor's office before I left work. They pretty much just said it's probably too early to do an ultrasound and see anything, but we want you to come in for blood work, because I was 6 weeks along, almost 7, I think. Yeah. And so I was like, okay. So I was freaking out. I went in, they took my blood, just like they're not going to be able to tell me anything until like a couple days later, because they need to get another blood draw and then compare the two. So I was like, I'm not even gonna know, and if I have a miscarriage, it's probably gonna happen before then. The next day, I'm trying to remember this, I just kept having bleeding, and it just kind of got like a little bit heavier. And then the next day I was like, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have a miscarriage. Once again, it was on a school day, so Matt needed to go to class, and obviously he was willing to stay home with me. It's not like he was like, sorry, just deal with this yourself. Like, he was willing to stay home with me, but I was like, no, like, you need to go to class. So he went to class, and I called my sister, and she came over, because I was like, if I go through this, I don't want to go through it just like at my house by myself. It was so scary the first time. I was just in a ton of pain. But there wasn't like a moment where I knew that the miscarriage had happened. Like the first time there was a moment and I was like, yep, that was definitely it. This time I didn't really know, and so I was just like in a ton of pain, and then it kind of started easing up, and I was like, maybe it happened, like I don't know. The doctor did call me that day and was like, hey, we can have you come in for an ultrasound, and I was like, well, I'm pretty sure I'm having a miscarriage, so I don't think an ultrasound is gonna do anything. But that day the bleeding kind of like got less. That was, what day was that? It was January 28th, 29th, something like that. It was a Tuesday, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, the bleeding kind of like slowed down, and I was like, okay, maybe it happened. Then the next day I woke up and I was still having a lot of cramping and bleeding, and I was like, is everything okay? So I called the doctor, kind of told them what was going on, and they were like, yeah, let's have you come in for an ultrasound. It was kind of awful because I had always just wanted to make it to an ultrasound to be able to see our baby. Then I made it to one, and there was nothing there because the miscarriage had happened. But the ultrasound tech was so nice. I loved her. She was so genuine and just real, and it was really nice. She was like, yeah, it doesn't look like what you would see when it's like a typical pregnancy. My doctor was not working that day. She wasn't there, and so they had me meet with a different doctor, and he was really awesome, and he said similar things that the doctor said the first time. Like, I see nothing that concerns me or makes me think that you'll never like be a mom or have kids. Like, it's probably honestly just bad luck. I mean, it was just hard. It felt like I had made all this progress. I'd had the first miscarriage. I had learned things. It was so hard, and I thought I had made all this progress and gotten to this other point where it was like everything was gonna be okay, you know, like I had gone through something hard and now the blessing was gonna come. But then it didn't, and I literally felt like I just got picked up out of the spot that I was in, where I had like come so far, and put back in the exact same spot I had just come from. Like, that's what it felt like, and it was so hard. And this time, because of all the anxiety and fears that I had about losing this baby, I never really felt that connected to this baby. That made me really sad. Like, that hurt my heart. I mean, it makes it harder, obviously, if you're closer, because it's like, I don't know, there was more of a connection there. It just made my heart sad that, like, now the baby was gone and I didn't even ever feel close to it, because I was just so scared the whole time that I was gonna have a miscarriage. That made me really sad. Kind of similar to the first one, it was like reassuring to know that it was probably just bad luck, like they said, and that we'd be able to try again soon. It was different because I didn't feel as close to that baby, and it made it easier in a way, but like sadder for me, because I was like, now it's over, and I didn't ever even get to feel close to that baby, so that was really hard. Oh, I do feel like I healed emotionally a lot quicker, probably because I wasn't as close with the baby, and also I think because I'd gone through it before, so I knew that it wasn't the end of the world, even though it felt like it was. I knew that things would get better. One of my fears always when I've thought about being a mom is like, how do you have room in your heart to love more than one baby? And especially after the first miscarriage, I was like, there's no way I'll ever love another as much as I loved this one. But it's real, you love them. And I didn't even ever feel that connected with the second one, and I still feel a lot of love in my heart for it, even though I didn't feel like especially connected to it like I did the first time. It was hard having to tell our family again. It's just like defeating to have another miscarriage. There's never happy news to share, you know? I just want happy news. I just want to be able to tell someone I'm pregnant, not that I'm not pregnant anymore. It's hard to just have to keep telling people the sad things instead of ever getting to share happy news. I almost feel like the second miscarriage is just like, it is in between the first and third, but like I don't feel like I have as many specific feelings or memories about this one, because the first one, it was like the first time, and the third one, it was like, oh no, this is bad, now I've had 3. The second one is just kind of like, that experience is kind of lost in all of everything. It was hard, obviously. It never gets easy. It stinks to have to feel like, okay, I know what's gonna happen, like I know what's coming. But I think that's something that made it a little bit not as scary the second time. It was like, I know how painful this could be. I was prepared in that way, I guess. You're never prepared to lose a baby. That's like not something you should ever have to be prepared for, but unfortunately it does happen to people. That's the second miscarriage story. That one was as eventful, I guess, as the first and the third one, I don't think, but it's one of my stories and I'm sharing it. That's that. Adios.